if you're in the mood to never laugh once, horrible cover songs, Batman, Decapitating Grandma, Necrophilia, The Adventures of a Walking Dickhead, Vertical Smiles, Excess Fake Ejaculations, Models Taking Dumps, Robbing Sperm Banks, Joey Buttafuoco, Virgin Hunters, Bag Lady Bikini Pageants hosted by Slash. Yes, that Slash. Baywatch parodies, Flirty Harry, Lorena Bobcut, and wondering how the hell this guy cast Michael Clark Duncan in 3 fucking scenes, then go out and try to find a copy of.
That's too weird to be false.
Yeah.
Dueling decades. All right, guys. So I won the first round. I pick up the first point, and more importantly, I get to take control of the board. We're gonna go to the movies round for round number 2. All right, for my worst of May movie, I actually picked a TV movie. Now, last week, Man Crush picked the 1988 TV movie, The Incredible Hulk Returns. Now, if you've not listened to that episode yet, go back and check that one out on our YouTube page. The link's down below in the show notes. Now, in Man Crush's pick, he told us that the movie was supposed to be a vessel for a Thor spinoff that just unfortunately never got made. Well, the very next year, they tried it again. Airing May 7th, 1989, NBC gave us the atrocity that is The Trial of the Incredible Hulk. When Banner tries to stop a death wish-like rape on a subway, he turns into the Hulk, kicks everyone's ass, passes out, and then when he comes to, he's the one that's being sent to jail and accused of being the attacker. Now, the thugs that were doing the attacking, well, of course, they're linked to the great Marvel villain, the Kingpin. So Bruce Banner gets help from a lawyer named Matt Murdock, who also happens to be, of course, Daredevil. Now, despite the title, the Hulk never actually goes on trial. And, but wait, Mark, I've seen the clips of the Hulk, like, hulking out in the courtroom, and that's the artwork on the box. Well, that scene, that's actually a dream sequence that Banner has while he's in prison. Yes, I said prison. So the film should have actually been called The Hulk Goes to Jail, but I think that would have been a little bit more of a downer. So this is the only time in the history of the Incredible Hulk live action show and of the 3 movies they made where the Hulk wears his purple trademark shorts. It happens in that dream sequence. So this also marks the first live action appearance of Daredevil and his nemesis Kingpin, who actually in this one has a ponytail and a beard and is never actually called the Kingpin. And you guessed it, that spinoff show, it never got made either. So I give you The Trial of the Incredible Hulk, aka The Hulk Goes to Jail, May 7th, 1989.
I almost watched that the other night because it's actually.
I did. Don't do it.
They want to. It is available on Prime. You can, if you have Prime, you can go and watch that. It's on the list. You actually go back to back.
Yeah.
Watch The Return and then watch The Trial and see.
The storylines do kind of link up there, so it's great.
How the hell can you put the Hulk in jail?
Carefully.
What?
What creeps me out is the fact that they keep changing his name. He's, it's David Bruce Banner. It was Bruce Banner, and then they changed it to David Banner because the directors of the movie didn't like a name that has 2 of the same letters in it. So he changed it.
That's
to
Stan Lee's
David
whole
Banner.
thing.
What?
Yeah.
Brendan's like, wait a minute. Wait, what?
Fuck this
Rewind.
guy!
Hold up. So was it Bill Bixby who was the original?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
So
Bill
let me
David
get this
Bixby.
straight. Let me get this straight. They recast
They gave
a
him a
guy
new name,
who
too.
has the same first letter of both his names, right? They went to the trouble of recasting him. What? 5 years later? 10 years later? How long? How much later?
It ended in 82, the original, the show.
Okay, so that's where in TV life that's like a decade. So they went through the trouble of getting him back involved, and then they were like, no to the original
Your name is Mohammed now.
Oh,
Mohammed Banner.
This does not bode well. See, I loved the original Hulk series, lived for it as a kid. It was such a big deal. Me and my brother, TV, that was like, back then, that was like one of very few television shows, besides the Muppets maybe, that we were allowed to watch on TV at night. So, big deal. Totally big deal.
Dukes of Hazzard too was the other. I don't know. For me, at least, it was like
Dukes. I wasn't as into the Dukes. I'm a real.
We had. I'm from New York, but like, dude, we had 3 channels. Like, what the
I know. No, that's true.
Take what you get.
I was really into Good Times when I was a kid. I always watched that when I come home from school.
That's great for a worst of episode, I'll tell you. There was not a whole lot of good times on Good Times.
I know. I remember
that show was dynamite.
Yeah, but the first time I ever was affected by something dramatic on television was when the father died. That episode rocked because it was all fun and games, and then suddenly it was like, yeah, he's not coming home, and I had to hide under the bed. Like, it was bad. It was really bad, intense.
And that's like 70s too, right? That was when he died. That was late 70s. 70s are dark time, man.
Dark times, man. Dark. Real shit.
All right, Joe Finley, what did you bring for the movies round?
Well, thanks for asking, Mark. We've already talked about a boat that was a bad choice in this, so let's bring up another one. This movie was directed by Irwin Allen, who produced The Towering Inferno, Poseidon Adventure, Swiss Family Robinson, Lost in Space, big into the disaster kind of things. And it starred a couple of Oscar winners. I give you a sequel nobody asked for, Beyond the Poseidon Adventure. Starring Michael Caine, Sally Field, Telly Savalas, Peter Boyle, Slim Pickens, and Shirley Jones. The plot is really simple. The SS Poseidon still capsized. Greek rescuers get the SOS, and they show up a little late, but they decide to go into the hole that everybody escaped from in the first one and look for survivors, only to have that hole collapse on them, and now they're trapped. During their travels around the boat, they find a bunch of people that didn't get found the first time, apparently, and they all have to find their way out together.
Did they recycle the set? Is it the same set?
No, this is what's crazy. So the director of this movie produced that movie, and this movie just looks like an all-around cheap version, just cheaply painted sets, and it looks like a TV movie version of the whole thing. The movie has a 0% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and Variety wrote that the film comes off as a virtual remake of the 1972 original without the film's mounting suspense or excitement. Gene Siskel said that it's virtually the same story as the original disaster film, with shoddily painted sets, tiny studio-created fires, all the exact same size, and dialogue that could be written by a first grader. The movie only made back 20% of its $10 million budget. And just as an interesting thing, too, so the bad movie, but was it the bad time, came out the same day as Alien. So that was its competition, and the re-release of Jaws. So that's what it had to go up against, and that's what it gave you for your efforts to go to see it. So, once again, May 25th, 1979, Beyond the Poseidon Adventure.
Man.
All right, Man Crush, over to you for the movies round.
First, Stacy Lanigan is in our chat. Hi, Stacy. And Stacy says that Mark looks physically pained by his choice, and I would agree. But I think mine is worse. I do think that. Let's go May 14th of 1999. First, I have to acknowledge here, this is a bit of a circle back to a previous worst of episode that we did last July. Diane Franklin was the judge. And I believe this was the episode where I came to the news round with a story about Joey Buttafuoco was packing up his family and heading to Los Angeles or Hollywood to launch his acting career. Do you remember this episode, Mark?
I do very well.
Yeah. And I think I won that round. It was a worst of episode. Lo and behold, it appears his dreams had come true because I happened to land on the month where he finally was in a movie that hit theaters. All right. Don't get too excited for Joey, though. One, it's Joey fucking Buttafuoco. And two, this movie made a whopping $856 at the box office. Dave Schultz, I hope you're in the chat. You'll like this one. It made $1,372 inflation in 2021. Big numbers here. So I'm not sure this is what he envisioned for himself when he took his this trek with his family across the country. But anyway, this movie right here, it was created by Vince Offer. And perhaps that name doesn't ring a bell with people, but you probably would recognize some of the products that he was slinging on infomercials. Vince Offer would be the same guy you'd probably know as the ShamWow guy, the Slap Chop guy, and more recently, the Crank Chop guy. I have not seen those infomercials. I don't watch too much TV anymore. But after spending nearly $200,000 of his own money on this pile of dog shit, he went bankrupt. After a couple of years of it, had like a delayed release, came out on May the 14th and just kind of like hovered and didn't do anything. But before heading back to the flea markets to do slap chop sales, Offer ended up suing Anna Nicole Smith for $4 million because apparently she refused to do the movie, which she agreed to be in, and then was like, "Now this is a pile of dog shit. I'm not doing it." So he tried to sue her. He didn't win that one. But before the movie even came out, he tried to sue the Farrelly brothers and 20th Century Fox for allegedly stealing 14 scenes from this movie and using them in their Something About Mary. Not only did he lose that lawsuit, but he also had to pay nearly $70,000 in attorney's fees to 20th Century Fox. So
that's too weird to be false.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you watch this, I'll get into some like things about this movie. They didn't steal shit from this movie. Trust me. Allegedly, this movie sold 100,000 copies on DVD. And I'm having a hard ass time finding, I had a hard time finding this movie to watch. I would venture to say that is a erroneous figure. I was talking to our boy Eric, one of our Patreons last night, and I told him, he sent us a couple messages. We were talking about movies, and I was like, dude, I got to go hunt for this movie now. I got to let you go. And it actually took me hours to find, and I didn't even get to watch it last night. I watched that shitty Love Boat instead. I didn't even get to watch it till today. And this movie is fucking horrible. But on top of that, I found 2 reviews. Usually when I can't find a movie, I'll go to YouTube and say, all right, let's see what people did on this movie. Let's see if anybody reviewed this thing. I found two reviews. And one of those reviews is the absolute creepiest review of a movie I have ever seen in my life. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but if you go and you look up the name of this movie and review after I tell it to you, and you go watch this shit, your skin will crawl. Listen to this guy and the things that he likes about this movie. It's crazy. Anyhow, if you're in the movie, or if you're in the mood to never laugh once, horrible cover songs, Batman, Decapitating Grandma, Necrophilia, The Adventures of a Walking Dickhead, Vertical Smiles, Excess Fake Ejaculations, Models Taking Dumps, Robbing Sperm Banks, Joey Buttafuoco, Virgin Hunters, Bag Lady Bikini Pageants hosted by Slash. Yes, that Slash. Baywatch parodies, Flirty Harry, Lorena Bobcut, and wondering how the hell this guy cast Michael Clark Duncan in 3 fucking scenes, then go out and try to find a copy of the Underground Comedy Movie. But before you do that, go and find that guy's review first, because you're going to be like, what the fuck?
Wow, that sounds absolutely atrocious.
It is.
But let's hear what our judge for this episode, Brendan B. Brown, has to say on the movies round.
My teeth are vibrating. I really didn't think I was going to hate you guys this much, and I really fucking hate you.
One more thing about that. This is the most dialogue I have heard out of Slash in my entire life.
I was gonna say I heard him talk in an interview once or twice, but he's like a man of don't play guitar instead.
A lot of words. I was like, what? I didn't even think it was him at first. I had to go check IMDb. It's him.
So, well, you want me to recap and just because
do whatever.
I feel like I need to climb out of a
whatever.
grave. So okay, so I'm not gonna go anywhere near shitting on Bill Bixby, okay? Because too many fond memories, a wonderful show, Lou Ferrigno, come on, like it's so good. Was Lou Ferrigno? He was in this remake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so no way am I gonna like.
And he was bigger.
I don't care if it. All right, exactly. I don't care if it was a failure. They screwed up the whole concept of superheroes, or what. I don't give a shit. Like those guys, they have too much goodwill. But you had me close on this Poseidon reboot, the Poseidon, you know. But then you said that Telly Savalas and Michael Caine were in it, and I'm not about to be down on Kojak and like, I mean, come on, how am I gonna like? I'm not gonna be mad with these people. Also came out the same day as Alien. By the way, anecdotal story: my father had an illegal cable box in the early '80s, the kind that like if it got scrambled, you switched it over with a giant thing. And one day it wasn't working. So my mom called the cable company to come and repair it. And we lost Cinemax in 1982 or whatever it was. And, my father had watched Alien and come downstairs and got in my face and said, "You're never allowed to watch that fucking movie. You understand me?" Like it was so traumatic, right? Such a big deal. And of course that made me know that I would go and watch it as soon as I possibly could. But my mom called the cable guy, and away my dreams of watching Alien went. So I'm going to have to say that the Joey Buttafuoco thing, every single word that you said was loathsome. Everything. I don't even remember. Like, I stopped listening after a while, and I was like, this is just, he made this all up to make everybody upset.
I didn't. It's real. And actually, that's what it says. This movie says it's guaranteed to offend, and it tries really hard to do that.
But if I could just get this straight, are you telling me that Joey Buttafuoco, did he star in a movie of himself going to Hollywood to make it as an actor? Is that what you said? No.
So last year we had this episode with Diane Franklin. It was another Worst Of episode, and she was the judge. And it was the news round, and I found a news story. It was about, I don't remember what year it was. I think it was 1996. And it was about Joey picking up and packing everything, leaving New York, and heading to Hollywood to start a new career. And that was my news story for that episode.
So it's not, so there, it's okay. So what was the DVD that you were seeking?
Oh, so it was this movie. It was the Underground Comedy Movie.
Right. Okay. I misheard you at first and thought that there was a movie that Joey Buttafuoco starred in about Joey Buttafuoco going to Hollywood to start a career. God. Okay, now that made me like I puked a little bit, and then I was mad at you, so the rage like clouded my listening. So I'm gonna go with this. Whatever the news story was, that is like it still sucks.
The Underground Comedy Movie.
Yeah, the Underground Comedy Movie is fired. We're doing that one. That's the worst. You win.
Before anybody goes and tries to watch that, please go and watch that dude's. I want him to get like a YouTube number of spikes. I don't know. Like, I think it was years ago that this guy did it, but it's frightening if you watch that. And side note, Brendan, I don't know if any of you guys remember this story from back in the day, because I also had a black box, but ours was in the early 90s. And there was a story that circulated back then. I think it was true, actually. So what they did with the black box was you would go to watch the Disney Channel, right? And it would be Cinderella. Well, instead of Cinderella being on, they would send a different feed to all these people that had the black box with the Cinderella porno on it. So they would wait for these homes to call the cable company and go, "What the fuck are you playing on Disney Channel right now? The dwarfs are fucking Cinderella. Like, what is going on?" And they would get busted for it. I don't know if it was true or not, but that was like the fable that was going around in the early 90s. You guys never heard that? Or did I dream that?
No, but I
No.
can tell you plenty of stories about porno being put on children's television as somebody who works in children's television. That does happen.